Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Well, today's a sad day, and that is because I have just found out that a fellow UFO research channel right here on YouTube was taken down, all of its videos deleted after the employer of the gentleman who operated the channel put pressure on him to distance himself from UFO research altogether. This friend of mine was a pilot. He not only held his license to fly, but is also the director of aircraft maintenance for a corporate jet fleet in Texas. So this guy works in the aerospace industry every single day. And his name was Steve, and that's the name that I'll refer to him as today. So when Steve first contacted me, around 9 months ago, he sent me an email. And aside from describing to me the work he does in the aerospace industry, he also was very much into the topic of UFOs and alluded to the fact that he, as well as many other pilots who were friends of his, had seen and recorded some things up there in the sky that simply couldn't be explained, and that truly do defy rational explanation. Steve believed that people needed to know what was going on. And despite the fact that, well, he and I already knew that there was kind of this secret code amongst pilots that you do not talk about UFOs publicly, he definitely wanted to get his footage out there, and he wanted to set up his own channel, albeit anonymously. And that's what he and his wife did. His wife is also in the aviation industry and works as a stewardess. And with her, they set up a YouTube channel called 2Force. And you're seeing the cached version of that here. As I said, Steve was forced to delete the channel. So this is all we have. This is all that's left. But this is just to show you guys that the channel did exist. And 2Force actually stood for Texas Unidentified Flying Object Research Center. And it was an awesome channel, where he posted, in my opinion, some of the most mind-boggling footage I've ever seen. Some of it I featured on the channel here. If you guys remember this piece of footage here, this was the very first video that Steve sent over to me, captured personally by he and his wife while they were piloting one of these corporate jets. And I even posted a video about this entitled, "Notorious Alien Craft Returns 30 Years Later." And in that video, I spoke about this amazing footage here, and I also linked it to one of the most famous UFO incidents ever to occur, and that, of course, is the Cash Landrum incident that occurred around 30 years ago. And I'll post a link to that video down in the video description. But the video that you're seeing here, which was the first piece of footage that Steve sent to me, featured this very anomalous diamond UFO that was seen flying outside of the window. Definitely was not a plane, was not showing up on radar, and it was just a phenomenal piece of UFO footage. And as I spoke to Steve, you know, he was a very thorough, a very concise, and honorable gentleman. He really was. And, you know, he even wanted to go one step further to prove to me that he truly did work in the aviation industry. So in one of his emails, he sent to me this photograph you're seeing here. And if you guys remember, I posted this last year when he sent it over. But just to prove, you know, that he was the real deal, he printed out my logo on a piece of paper, and then he taped it to the side of one of these jets, which I thought was pretty awesome. And I remember making the joke that Secureteam had now gotten into the airline business. And as I'm looking at the email that he sent me with this photograph, you know, he stated in it that he wanted to stay anonymous, and for the fact that he just basically said, I have to stay anonymous to avoid ridicule, and I'm reading from his email here, I have to stay anonymous to avoid ridicule and possible loss of my job. The UFO subject has destroyed a lot of careers in aviation. And so another video I posted of his was this that you're seeing here, where they had recorded via high-power telescopes a triangular UFO that was seen moving right above the lunar surface, above the moon. But it's another amazing finding posted on the 2Force channel. At the time, I mean, this guy was coming out with just one after the other bombshell videos. And I was so happy that he had contacted me, was a fan of Secureteam, and really wanted to work together to do this little side project, to run this YouTube channel. So then just a couple days ago, I received an email from Steve after not hearing from him for a little while. And the subject line of that email stated simply, 2Force channel deleted. Now, of course, as you guys can imagine, before I even opened the email, just seeing that subject line, obviously I had known that something had happened. So I will go ahead and read you the email here. It's not very long as to what happened and why he so suddenly had to delete his channel, his YouTube channel. And remember, he ran this channel anonymously. He never gave out his information, so nobody should have known who this guy was. But so, here's the email. He writes, "Unfortunately, the Texas Unidentified Flying Object Research Center, or YouTube channel known as 2Force, and all of its content has been deleted. I received multiple verbal warnings from my superiors saying that myself and others will be discredited and receive suspension or loss of our certifications and loss of employment if we continue to associate ourselves with the topic of UFOs." He then writes, "Contrary to the way some people believe, talking about the subject of UFOs by aviation professionals like myself is still prohibited. I was further instructed to dismantle or destroy any equipment that has the ability to see and record UFOs, such as long-range night vision or video-equipped telescopes, and to detach myself from the subject of UFOs completely. As instructed, no one formerly involved with the 2Force YouTube channel will be actively searching for UFOs." He finishes off the email by saying, "I am writing this letter to say thank you for helping us get some of our video footage of UFOs out to your massive audience. All of us involved with 2Force were very grateful to you, and to the people who came to the 2Force channel and subscribed, left great comments, and shared their opinions and stories with us. Keep up the good work. Best regards, Steve." So, obviously after reading that, I mean, I truly was sad. Really. And, you know, I'd always heard stories about pilots being told not to speak about UFOs for the fear of having their jobs and careers threatened. And there's plenty of stories about this. It's well known that starting from back in the 1950s, the U.S. Air Force started implementing the policy of silencing its own pilots and air traffic controllers when it came to UFOs. But I had never had a first-hand experience with it up until now. And I've been showing you some different UFO footage here, all of which that has been captured by pilots. One of these in particular, which was actually recorded from the ground, is the Phoenix Lights that occurred in 1997 in Arizona. But it's said that these Phoenix Lights, which was this really strange row of lights that just started to appear one by one in the skies over Phoenix, Arizona, it was seen by multiple airborne commercial airliners. And that at the time, the pilots who were witnessing these lights were radioing back and forth, asking others if they were seeing the same thing. And so the story goes that at one point, while they were radioing between each other, that an ominous voice came onto the radio and said, "What did you see?" To which the pilots responded, "Nothing." So it was kind of like a subtle message to shut up about what they were talking about by an unknown voice that had come over the radio. And you'll hear stories like this. And, you know, I've spoken to many pilots who say that when it comes to UFOs, you'll be hard-pressed to find a pilot who hasn't had an experience with one of these things, with something strange, with something that cannot be explained. And obviously, as we're seeing here, it's true. A man who operated anonymously a YouTube channel based on UFOs received so much pressure that not only did he have to delete his channel, but after he sent me this email, I responded to him almost immediately asking him if he could give me a call. And moments after I sent the reply email, I got a response back that the email address had been closed and that the email was undeliverable. Now, I also had a second email that was his wife's, So I went and I tried to send an email to that address. Once again, got a reply back that the message was undeliverable and that apparently the email address had been closed. So this is serious. This guy had to not only, he is completely distancing himself from this topic and from anybody that he spoke to about it. And he told me that although he was very careful never to allow anyone to know exactly who he was or where he worked, word got back from someone to his superiors. Someone snitched on him, we'll just say, that he was operating this channel. And that's when the hammer came down. And so, we've been talking a lot lately about censorship when it comes to this topic. And here we are with another case of that. And, I really want to say, because I'm not able to get a hold of him, that Steve, if you're watching this, I want to say thank you for doing what you did, for setting up the channel, you and your wife, because you really did make a big difference, and I really am honored to have spoken with you and to have been included with your research into this topic. So the point of this video, guys, is just to say that, yes, censorship is alive and well, and it's gotten to the point, especially if you're in the aviation industry, even if you anonymously operate a little YouTube channel, or that in your off time you like to video the skies and hunt for UFOs, you will be threatened with losing your career. So thank you guys for stopping by today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you back here in just a bit.